and welcome to Cooking with Jag. Today I'm going to make pumpkin soup. I am using acorn squash, which is a member of the pumpkin family. Acorn squash basically looks like an acorn with longitudinal ridges running on the outside with a dark green skin. When you cut it open, it is bright orange inside. It is mainly used in dinner preparations, but on the Caribbean island, it is used as a breakfast item, which is quite delicious. For those of you who are diet conscious, this is truly a wonderful nutritional vegetable. And on a cold fall day, it makes quite a hearty soup. To make delicious pumpkin soup, you would need 1 acorn squash, peeled, seeded, and chopped. 2 large potatoes, peeled and chopped as well. Some ghee, some vegetable broth, 2 ribs of celery diced, 1 small onion diced, 3 cloves of garlic minced. You would need sage, garlic powder, paprika, 1½ cups of coconut milk, a ½ cup of plain tofu, some dill weed, and some parsley. We'll begin by heating up a large Dutch skillet. Okay, let's get started. On high heat, we're going to add a tablespoon of ghee. And we'll let that melt. The pan is already heated on high. To that, we're going to add your garlic. So the first flavors you have in there to enhance your ghee would be garlic. Swish that around in there. We're going to add your onion and celery. Give that a quick turn, just so nothing burns. Oh, you get a nice pungent aroma of garlic. We will add your potatoes. And just let that slightly saute. Now both winter and summer squashes are rich in nutrients important for cardiovascular health. The nutrients include vitamin C, vitamin A, folic acid, and potassium. It is also rich in fiber, which promotes irregularity in blood sugar stability, weight loss, and cardiovascular health. Fiber also helps maintain the integrity of the colon. Squashes are very, very good for weight loss as they are tasty, they're bulky, and they're low in calories. We're now going to add in here the acorn squash. We're going to stir that up and just let it saute for a few minutes. So now when that's sauteed for about 5 minutes or so and it's starting to get a little golden brown, I love to add a little bit of white Chardonnay to it. You don't have to, it's optional. It just adds extra flavor to your pumpkin soup. Now I'm going to add the sage, garlic powder, and paprika. Give that a quick stir. Just delicious aromas coming here. Squashes are very good for lung health as it has a high content of vitamin A and it keeps your lungs healthy against lung cancer and emphysema. Of course, when we smoke cigarettes, we lose a lot of vitamin A in our body and squashes contain a high content of vitamin A. We will now add the vegetable broth. And we'll bring that to a boil. Once everything is to a boil, we're going to turn our heat down to medium. We're going to put a lid on it and let that simmer for about ½ an hour. Now that's simmered, your squash, you can cut through the squash with your potatoes with the spoon. I'm going to add that to a blender. With a slotted spoon, I will start adding the squash into my blender. Now you have to be very careful, because it's very hot, and maybe some of you might not want to add it right away into your blender. You might want to let it cool down first and then add it into your blender. Once you've taken all the potatoes and squash out, you can take the remaining broth and pour it into the blender. Now we're ready for blending. Now I'm working with a very hot liquid. You might not choose to do that, but what I like to do as a precaution before I turn the blender on is I like to put a cloth over the top of the blender. We turn our blender on and we blend this to a nice puree. Now I'm going to turn my stove back on medium-low. I'm going to take the pureed squash soup and pour that back into my pot. We're going to let that come to a simmer now. While the soup simmers, I'm going to add the 1.5 cups of coconut milk.
And a tablespoon of ghee.
And we'll let that gently heat through. Serve with a freshly baked whole grain bagel or whole grain bread. This soup makes a complete meal. Enjoy this delicious, nutritious, warming to your soul soup. It's been a pleasure. See you next time.